lot of people, a lot of young children with learning disabilities can't remember Ely at all because they weren't born then. Can you describe what Ely looked like?
No, it's gone now. Gone from my memory.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about the place.
Yeah.
I'm out of it now. Got my own little flat. I'm out of it.
Can you remember?
I didn't like it there anyhow when I was there.
Were you happy when you left?
Yeah.
Yeah. And where did you go when you left?
Into my house.
You went straight into your house. That must
Yeah.
be so exciting.
It was.
When you left Ely Hospital, what kind of things did you start doing then that made life different for you?
Smoking, drinking. I used to be down the pub. Pint after pint.
Was this when you left Ely Hospital?
Yeah.
When you were in Ely Hospital?
When I left it, you don't
When you
know.
left it?
When I left it. Oh, I drank too much. God. I'm on tablets now. I don't drink or smoke now.
No, I know.
One of the good ones, don't smoke, not drink.
Well, in one of my letters to the Echo, and that's one that I've lost, and I was writing about they shouldn't close Ely Hospital, that they were closing all these other hospitals, and where would these patients go? You know, and even Rodri Morgan replied to me and said, "Have you heard from your letter from Cry from the Heart?" They headed it, you know. And there was this one patient, he used to meet me outside the office every morning from work and walk me to the bus stop. And they would and wait until the bus came, sort of thing, then he'd go back. And of course they were talking about putting them out. And he said, "I don't want to go out, love," he said. He said, "I've got my television and my chair. What more do I want?" Really, it shouldn't have been closed down, like, you know. But even he was put out, like, you know.
Yeah. Do you know what happened to him?
Sorry? Oh yes, that was sad. I went up to Tesco's once because he'd been put out in the community, you know. And Terence was there and he was breaking his heart. And I said, "What's the matter, Terence?" And he said, "I went to bed." This was in the house where he was staying, and he said, "She put me out." And so I did write to the Echo about that, and I said, "Can someone please tell me where Terence is?" You know, because everybody, as I say, everybody knew who I was talking about, you know. And policeman wrote to me. The vicar of the local church rang me up, and he said, "Eula," he said, "Terence was in church last week." And I said, "Well, where is he?" And he said, "I don't know." And then two social workers rang up, and they said, "Oh, he's in a home in Pen Hill."
Right.
And it was a staffed home, and he was happy. But when he died, the local church, well, it was packed, wasn't it? You know, with people who'd come for Terence. It's not so long ago that we saw one up in Tesco's with his carer, like, you know.
Yeah.
And that was so sad because they've changed his name since he went out, you know. And I called him Peter. I said, "Hello, Peter," you see. And the carer called him another name, but he was always Peter.
I started off as a basic grade therapist, as a 21-year-old, and I left there 10 years later as a 31-year-old, and I moved on to Llanfretford Grange, and I moved on because I'd done lots more qualifications. I became a manager. I managed a therapeutic centre called Greenfields Therapy Centre, which had OT and music therapy and drama therapy, art therapy, play therapy, and all those sorts of things. So the job moved on a great deal. Also, the hospital was closing. So one of the great things for me was the hospital closure and moving all the clients I thought that didn't need to be there in the first place out into the community. and educating the community to be able to support our clients.
Where do you work now?
I work as a consultant, art psychotherapist for Priory Healthcare, and that's in the private sector. So I'm doing the same job, but for people that need it more now. I think a lot of people at Ely Hospital didn't need therapy. They just needed to get out of the hospital. Now I work with people that have extra difficulties and really do need therapy and support and do need hospital care. It's so easy to be critical, though, but that's the way things were, you know. I'm not excusing it, but nobody really thought about a different way of doing things, really. Yeah. So I'm glad to say it's changed now.
What happened to the residents when they had to close?
Well, the hospital, well, they came. A lot of people came into the canton. I know they went to Barry, they went all over the place. From the experimental houses, they set up lots more houses around the place and started to think about who should live with who and friendships and things like that. And I think some people moved on to live in independent living as well, which is really great. And I see them every day around here, which is really good. So, yeah.
The doctor then gave me the letter and told me to go to Ely Hospital. Then I stayed there then. They told me then to go back. You're feeling alright now. You're feeling alright now. Then they told me to go back to my parents.
That must have been strange for you, Brian, being away from your parents and then going back. How did it make you feel?
It made me, after I seen my parents, it made me sad and made me like I wanted to cry in front of them.
So you missed them then a lot? Did you think that you were going to be living in Ely Hospital forever?
I thought I'd be living there.
How did you feel when you came out, Brian?
I said after I came out from the door, I said in my head, I'm missing all my mates, all my friends in Ely Hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I came home on licence for good, my well officer was coming to the house to see me every 6 months. I was discharged out.
Do you know how long you were there for, John?
30 years.
Every week that passed in Ely, did you know when you were leaving?
On a Friday.
You knew that you'd be leaving on
No,
a Friday?
I had to go in front of the magistrates.
Right.
And then when I went home on a Saturday, there was a letter in the house saying I was out, that I got discharged off licence.
So you got a licence to come out of the hospital, is that right?
Yeah, I had to. They sent me one.
How did you cope being in Ely Hospital? How did you cope with every life day to day?
I knew Martin very well.
Right.
Martin Eprom, I knew him a good while, years. He used to be in 23 and I was in 21.
Right. Were 23 and 21, were they the wards?
21 block.
Do you keep in touch with many people that you met at Ely?
Marianne,
Yeah.
the one was in hostel, she went there. She put her in the wrong place and she shouldn't have been there. She shouldn't have been in Ely.
Right. Do you think people should have been in Ely, John? Do you think, or do you think they should?
Yeah, because there was something wrong with them. The other people didn't have no homes to go to. All their family had died.
Can you remember the day you left the hospital, John? How you felt?
Yeah, I used to live in Shakespeare Street,
Okay, where's that?
City Road.
Can you remember when you first heard that you will be leaving Ely Hospital? How you felt? Can you remember?
Dr. Mervyn Jones came and told the staff to tell me.
And what did you think when they said that you were going to leave?
He said to me, John, I'm discharging you out, he said, because there's nothing that I can't see that your nerves are bad at all, he said. And he said, I don't want to put you to witches, because he said, you don't want to go there, do you? And I said, no, I had a choice.
Did you have any difficulties settling into your new home, or was that okay?
Yeah, I used to live with my mum and dad.
Yeah.
And my dad used to take me out a lot.
If you had a choice now, would you tell people to go and live in a hospital or live in the community? What do you think is the best way of life for people?
Live in a community.
Is there anything else that you'd like to say to the general public about Ely Hospital? Is there?
Well, he wasn't fit enough for anyone to be there.
Do you think if they'd have lived outside in the community, they would have been able to do more for themselves?
I think so.
Why's that, Kath?
Well, there'd be more freedom for them.
And what kind of things would they be able to do that they couldn't do
Well,
in the
they'd
hospital?
be able to do to make their own cups of tea and go out when they liked and do what they liked.
Yeah.
Because there's too much cruelty going on.
There is, Kathleen, my goodness. And I'm so lucky that I'm in somewhere where I am looked after. I can come and go when I want. I can do what I want. I'm even having my own place decorated, Kathleen.
Oh,
and I
it's
picked out
lovely
all,
where I am too.
and I picked out all of my own wallpaper and paint that I wanted, picked out the colours. And I'm thinking, and the way I've been treated so well, and I'm somewhere where I feel safe. I can come home when I want, have a cup of coffee when I want, go to bed when I want to, get up when I want to, go shopping.